Again, first and foremost, I think since it seems like there's mostly a different crowd than yesterday, I'll repeat this from yesterday, but it is a big honor, it's a dignity to be in front of the group of mu'mineen that are here. It's a different honor to be in front of mu'mineen when it's a month such as it is that we're in. The Shahr Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, is a special occasion. It's a month of special blessings. And inshallah, if we have the tawfiq and the blessing to be able to concentrate on the Quran and deepen our understanding of the Quran within this month, then that's even a higher blessing than anything else. Now, what we had started talking about yesterday were the ayat and verses of the Quran that deal with a worldly life versus a life in the hereafter. The verse I want to talk about today is in Surah Tawbah. It's in verse number 38. If you have a traditional Quran of Uthman Taha script, then it'll be page 193. The verse says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا ما لكم إذا قيل لكم انفروا في سبيل الله أثاقلتم إلى الأرض أرضيتم بالحياة الدنيا من الآخرة فما متاع الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة إلا قليل. It says that, O you who have iman, O you who believe, what is it with you that when it is said to you to go forth on the path of Allah, you sink deeply within to the earth? Are you pleased with a worldly life as opposed to the akhirah, as opposed to the hereafter? And what are the wares of this worldly life in regards to the akhirah except little and insignificant? If we look at this verse, there's several points that we can think about. Again, what we want to concentrate more on is contemplating on this verse, not so much as the tafsir. But one of the things that is mentioned yesterday as well that helps us in doing tadabbur is realizing the context in which the verse was revealed in. So this particular verse was revealed in the historical context of an invitation of the Prophet towards a jihad, towards a physical struggle in a war. And the people that he was addressing are not the mushrikeen, obviously. He's addressing the mu'mineen, the people who believe. And it's important that we pay attention to this, that the people being addressed are mu'mineen, they're the believers, they're not disbelievers. Right? It's the people who already know better, who know what is right and what is wrong, who know that Islam is the right religion. These are the people who are being addressed. Now, when they're being addressed, Rasulullah is saying to them to come with me, fight with me, we need to have your support, we need to sort of do this battle. In response to that, they refuse. Right? The people are hesitant. The way that the Quran puts it, the way Allah SWT puts this refusal, is that it says that أَثَاقَلْتُمْ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. They sink deeply into the earth. They sink heavily into the earth. Just as we know, like if you look at the root word that of thaqala, we know another word that's very similar when you talk about haditha thaqalain, for example, right? Two weighty things. It's the same sort of meaning here, that a weighty thing. So when you're told to go forth on the path of Allah, you sink heavily into the ground. And this is something we can start to think about here, is that when it's time for us to do as Allah SWT commands us to do, when He's there and telling us to do one thing or another, what is it that's our response? How do we react to it? Do we treat it as something that's an obligation, as something that is a burden, as something that's difficult to do, something that ties me down, that bothers me? Or is it something that enlivens me? Right? Is it something that I treat that is actually something for my betterment, for my success? And again, we are very quick when we read the Quran and sometimes historical events and things to think about other people. We don't want to do that. We want to think about ourselves. We want to see and attribute and look and deeply introspect within ourselves. See where can we apply these messages to ourselves. Be critical of ourselves. Don't want to look at others. We don't have time really to look at others. All the time that we have, we need to spend looking at ourselves first and foremost. And so I have to see within myself, when Allah SWT tells me, okay, fast for these 30 days, when He tells me to pray in the manner that He does, when He tells me to go to Hajj, Zakat, Khums, when He tells me to do Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, right? We have so many rich traditions and hadith about Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Right? People treat it so lightly, but if you look in our hadith, right, it's the thing that says it's the chief of the wajibat, the most important of the wajibat is Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Without that, all of society collapses. And we can see, if you think about it a little bit, again, it's not our topic, don't want to go on a tangent, but if you look at it, you can see probably many of the things that ails our communities and each other is that we didn't have someone next to us to say that, hey, why are you doing this? Right? In a polite way, in a well-mannered way, in a loving way, but tell us, look, there's something better that you should be doing. There's so many times, if we think about it in our own lives, that if we had that positive peer pressure to push us in a way, in direction that was better, we would have had a course correction. We would have been in a much better state than we are right now. So where is it? Why is it that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me to do these things, I don't respond in the positive direction? And yes, the exact case of this verse is about jihad in a physical way, but it's not limited to it. None of the words here, none of the things that are talked about limit the meaning of this verse to that. It just says, fi sabilillah. Right? When you're told to go forth on the path of Allah, your reaction is this. The path of Allah includes all of the wajibat and muharramat. Right? Doing all of the wajibat, doing all of our obligations. Why is it that when I'm told to go forth and do things, that I'm hesitant? When it goes against my ego, when it goes against my desires, when it goes against what I feel is in my personal interest, when I feel like I have to sacrifice, I hesitate. That's something we have to think about. I'm not trying to find exact answers. I'm trying to say that this is a way of thinking, of contemplating, using these verses in a meaningful, personal way. I need to find the answers within me. I need to question myself. This verse is asking us. If you look at the tone of the verse, right? Again, the verse is addressing the mu'mineen. When it's addressing the mu'mineen, it's not telling them something new. This verse isn't saying that, look, I want to let you know about something. I want to let you know that the akhirah is better than the world. No. The mu'mineen already know this. It's reprimanding them. It's a tawbih. It's saying that, look, why are you doing this? Why are you like this? Why have you, a Muslim, a mu'min that has accepted the deen of Islam, why are you like this? Others, you can say that as an excuse. If you're someone who doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doesn't believe in the akhirah, then okay, you have an excuse. It's at least understandable why you're making this decision. But you as a Muslim, what's holding you back? Why are you hesitating? Don't you know? So it's a reprimand, and a reprimand to us. Now, if we look at ourselves in our lives, we find that we see some of the ways we build our lives, some of the ways that we conduct ourselves. And again, not in a bad intention. We're well-intentioned. But the ways that we conduct ourselves sometimes leads to us building roots within this world as if we think we're going to live here forever. We treat things as if this is where we are actually meant to stay. Whereas if we truly thought about it and acknowledged that this is just a temporary way station, and this is just a tool to gain something that's permanent, then the way we make decisions would dramatically shift. Nobody is saying that there's something wrong to have wealth and to have money. No, there's nothing wrong with it. But if that's my ultimate objective, is to have wealth and money in this world, then why would I have the belief of Islam in my heart? Islam is saying that I have to be ready to sacrifice everything for my akhirah. If push comes to shove, I need to be able to ready to let go of it all. If I'm not ready to do that, then how could I do the decisions that we look in so many of the personalities within our early history of Islam? Look at Hazrat Khadija. Hazrat Khadija was wealthy, but she spent all of that wealth in the service of Islam, to the point that when she passes away, she doesn't have anything, nothing left. I have to be ready to do that. But if I see that this world, in the glitter and glory of this world, is all that I see, that's my primary number one objective, then when my test comes, and my test will come, it's a promise by Allah, there will be a time in my life where it will be a trigger point, where push will come to shove, I will have to make a decision. Then I won't be able to pass that test. Again, it's easy in these times to look and start pointing in our minds to other people that we can think of that have failed this test. But that's not important. At least not in a primary level. Primary importance is ourselves. I need to look into myself. See, where is my failing point? If it's not wealth, it might be something else. Right? It might be status. It might be reputation. It might be my job. It might be my career. It might be whatever it is. It might be my children. It might be my family. I have to find where is that critical point within me where if I'm tested, I might drop, I might fail. And once I recognize it, I need to shore that up. I need to fix my perspective regarding that thing. Now, the next part of the verse says, أَرَضِيتُمْ بِالْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا مِنَ الْآخِرَةِ. Are you pleased? Are you satisfied with this life as opposed to the hereafter? Again, it's not telling anything new. It's something that we know. We shouldn't be. It's almost a incredulous question from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you as a Muslim who've accepted that there's an everlasting, forever paradise, gardens, rivers flowing underneath the feet, all of these things, you've accepted all that, you believe in it, but you still want this life instead of that one? You're satisfied with this temporary maximum, let's say 100 odd years that you're going to live in this world? You're satisfied with that? And this is easy to sort of say by the tongue that, okay, yes, I'm not satisfied with this world. I want the next world. It's easy to say. The words are always easy. It's the action when we're put into that test that it becomes difficult. Look at the various personalities that we have. For example, if you look at Zubair, Zubair is a great companion of Rasulullah, a great companion. Right? He's even given the title of Sayful Islam, the sword of Islam. He's one of the people who during the earlier periods of Islam converts to Islam. Right? Before Hijrah, before it was easy. Right? He converted to Islam when it was difficult. According to some accounts, he's from a noble family. Right? He has relation to both Amir al-Mu'mineen and Rasulullah from his mother's side, and he's related to Hazrat Khadija from his father's side. Right? He's related, even by blood. All these things are going positive for him. Right? Some say fourth or fifth person to convert to Islam. All these things positive. The amount of sacrifice is positive. When it comes to the time where Amir al-Mu'mineen is giving the final ghusl and the burial of Rasulullah, he's one of the people in the house of Imam Ali al-Islam, defending Imam Ali al-Islam. That's Zubair. What happens in the 20 years between that and Imam Ali al-Islam's Khilafat, such that he is the first person to go out and sort of start a war and battle against Amir al-Mu'mineen? Why did that happen? From accounts that we see, it seems like Zubair started to think like this, that I did all of this service for Islam. I did all of these difficulties, unimaginable trials. I went through all of them, all of these battles. Now I should see some sort of reward for it. I should see in this world some sort of benefit, some position, some status. So the first thing that he asks from Amir al-Mu'mineen is a governorship. He wants to be the governor of a particular place. When it's refused, then he says, I can't handle this. Now we don't know what at the end did Zubair do tawbah or not. There's different things, and we know for sure that the Imam cried upon and wept about Zubair, that he was extremely saddened to hear of that he passed away. Right? So don't know, but that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not in the maqam of judging anyone. We're not in the state where I can judge anybody. We're not in that place. But the point is this: a person of that caliber, a companion of the Rasulullah to that caliber, to that sort of status, he fell. He made the wrong choices. When it came to his pressure point, he fell. I shouldn't think that I'm safe. In comparison, I've done nothing in the service of Islam. If I could compare myself to Zubair, the service that he did was incomparable. He defended Rasulullah with his life, with his wealth, with everything he had. What have I done? So why should I imagine that I'm safe? There's no reason. Even if I'm the person, let's say in this beautiful center that you have, the person who's almost always at service of the people, always there in the namaz, always in the first line of the jama'ah, always reciting the Quran, the dua, all these things. That doesn't mean that the trial is over. Sometimes that itself becomes the trial. That I can start to think to myself that, wow, you're such a great person. Everybody, when they look at you, they think, mashallah, what a great person you are. It starts to twist my mind. I start to think of myself as something special. That could be the very test that I have. It's something we have to be vigilant. Until we draw breath in this world, our test is still there. I don't know how much time I have. I think I have 8 minutes. If we look at this next portion, this last portion of this verse, it's something very similar to the verse that we had talked about yesterday. It says, فَمَا مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا فِي الْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. What are the wares of this world, this worldly life, as opposed to the akhirah, the next world, except little, insignificant? Again, nothing that we don't know. The point is the perspective. I have to treat this world and everything about this worldly life as insignificant. If I give any inherent importance to the things of this world, then that is the start of my failure. Again, it's easy to say. The words are easy. It's when it comes to our actions in our actual day-to-day lives that it becomes difficult. If I see that, if I speak out against the injustice that's happening in Gaza and Palestine, then I'll face problems in my job. I'll face problems in my school. This thing will happen, that thing will happen. My opportunities will be lessened. Why is that inherently important? Why is that the first thing that comes to my mind? The first thing I should be asking myself is, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want from me? If He wants it from me, despite the consequences, then who am I to say no to it? Who am I to refuse? Who am I to say that I have something else that's more important? Everything is Allah's in the end. My whole life, everything about me, every breath that I draw is the complete object of ownership of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He owns me. Who am I to say no to that? I don't have it. I don't have the right. We have these things we can think of within our lives where this becomes difficult. It becomes difficult to do that. But that's one of the beauties of this month. The month of this holy month of Ramadan is a time where we already start to let go of this world. Right? If you think about it, in actuality, that is what you're doing when you're fasting. You're letting go of your attachment to this world. We have to treat it like that though. We have to be actively thinking about it like that. Our perspective has to be in that manner. If I treat fasting as something that's just a way to be hungry and thirsty, then nothing really will be accomplished by that. I have to treat it in a way of letting go. We have a beautiful section of Munajat al-Sha'baniyah that inshallah we had the opportunity to recite during the nights of Sha'ban or during the days of Sha'ban, where it says, Ilahi habli kamalan inqita'i ilayk. That, oh Allah, give me this absolute separation of all other than you towards you. The sort of continuing phrases are also very beautiful and interesting. We don't have time to go over it, but just tabarakan, I'll mention them. Right? It says, حَتَّى تَخْرَقَ أَبْصَارُ الْقُلُوبِ حُجْبَ النُّورِ. Until the point where the eyes of my heart pierce through the veils of light, not veils of darkness, veils of light. فَتَصْلَ عَلَى مَعْدَنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. Until you reach into this ultimate source of your mercy. وَتَصِيرُ أَرْوَاحُنَا مُعَلَّقَةً بِعِزِّ قُدْسِكَ. And our arwah, our souls, become attached to the ultimate authority and height and peak of your might and your holy might. It's a beautiful sort of section of the dua. But the point I'm making is the first part. What we want is that absolute separation from everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not important to me. The difficulty we face sometimes is this. There's a verse in the Quran that maybe highlights this, and I'll end, inshallah, with this point. There's a verse in the Quran that says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا. Says that, say, shall I make you aware of the people who are worst in deeds? It says, الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا. It's the ones whose efforts go astray in this worldly life. وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. All the while they're thinking to themselves, they're accounting with themselves, and they think that they're doing everything right. They're doing everything good. Even though they think that everything doing right, but the reality is that it's all going to waste. All of their a'mal, this is later on, habatat a'malum. All of their a'mal are enclosed. They don't bear any fruit. We should be terrified, absolutely terrified, that that's what's happening to me. That I'm here sitting talking about the Quran in this holy month, all the while thinking that I'm doing something good, but in reality I'm not. In the reality I'm doing it out of riyah. In the reality I'm doing it out of just a thing of showing off. I should be terrified of that. We have the ultimate sort of insight into ourselves. This is where it becomes important that every day we have an opportunity, we take the opportunity to look into myself and examine by what intent did I do the things I did. Say I do all the my wajibat, I avoid all that's haram. I did all of my obligations today, but why did I do it? Did I do it out of hubbullah, that I'm looking for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Ibtigha'i mardatillah, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is that why I did it? Or I did it just because I happen to be in circumstances where there's this beautiful, center and people around me are doing it, so I did it too. Why did I do the things that I'm doing? The heart of every action is the niyyah, why we did it. That's the fuel of every action. I have to examine myself, see why is it that I did the things that I did. Look no further than salat. One of the conditions for the salat to be valid, right, let alone be accepted, to be valid, is that I do it with the right intent. I do it not with the intention of showing off. It's something that's difficult. But this month gives us a unique opportunity for introspection, where we can be more honest with ourselves than at other times, more clear-sighted about what's actually going on within myself than at other times. It's not easy. It's difficult. We'll find yourself, this is something you can test. Find a private time, better if it's dark, no distractions, and think to yourself, examine yourself about your intentions. Ask yourself difficult questions. Why am I doing the things I'm doing in my life? This job that I have, why do I get up in the morning and go to this job? Is it for a godly purpose, or is it for this world only? Why do I care about my children's education? Is it so that they become proper Muslimin? Or is it some other reason? That I want them to get a good job. Not saying that getting a good job is wrong, but what's the primary reason? What's the primary reason that I'm doing tarbiyah of my children? We find that when we have this moment, our mind starts to wander. We're uncomfortable when we're faced with ourselves. When we're confronted with ourselves, we become uncomfortable. It's difficult to handle it. Because most of the time we're embarrassed. We're embarrassed at what we find. That maybe decades have passed and I still haven't fixed this in myself. It's better if I just ignore it. Push it under the carpet, ignore it. We can't do that. If we do that, we don't know how that will end up for ourselves. It might start off something very small, very minute, but it might end up being something very major. Shall we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq in this holy month to act upon the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow the Quran to be a light within our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this Quran to be a companion within this world and an intercessor for us in the next. ببركة الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم